Hello YouTubers! It came, the Samsung U10, and it is what I'm recording this video on right now. The setting that I've got it in is the lowest, which is 720 by 480, but it's 60 frames per second, so it'll be interesting to see what the quality of the picture is like. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through the same kind of questions as I did with the Kodak, and then at the second part of the video I'll sort of tell you what my impressions of the Samsung, and then at the end hopefully I'll be able to fit in some video samples. Okay, questions. Can you use it as a webcam? No, you can't. You hook it up to the USB and all you get is the software or the ability to take stuff off of the memory card. Now, as far as the software is concerned, I would say it is better than the Kodak. The editing part of it is really good, and I would put it on par with Windows Movie Maker because of the transitions that you can do with it, and you can trim it and all that sort of stuff. So the software is really good, and I've actually installed it on my computer, so I'm quite chuffed with that. Can you record and see what you're recording through the telly? Yes, you can. At the moment I have the AV cable hooked up to the camera and into my telly, and I can see exactly what I'm recording. You can also play back, change the settings and all that sort of stuff, so that is a real bonus. Can I record while the mains is hooked up? Yes, you can. I'm doing it now. One of the downsides is you can't change the battery, so once the charge is gone, then you have to get yourself to a mains to be able to recharge it and take some more video. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it's not an issue, because 90% of the video that I'll take will be near a main socket. But if you need a camera to do a lot of video outside, then something else where you can swap the battery out would probably be better. Does it charge via USB? I think it does, but not as quickly as it does with the mains adapter. Does it work in Sony Vegas? Yes, it does. I've been able to take the videos that I've done on this camera and put it straight into Sony Vegas. The audio is there, the video is there. The only issue that it does have is that it seems to have a problem playing back the 1080p. It's sort of a little bit slow. Whether the rendering will be the same with the rendering, I don't know. And QuickTime doesn't seem to play back the video samples as well as it did with the Kodak, but the onboard player that you get in the software that you get plays everything perfectly. So that was another reason why I uploaded it onto my computer, because I was having issues playing back the 1080p. Mics. Right, you've got stereo mic on the top. Some people have said there's 3 mics in it, but I don't think there is. I looked in the manual, and the little grid that is on the back I think is actually a speaker. Whether it doubles up as a mic or not, it didn't say in the manual, so I don't think it is. But the quality of the sound that you get is quite good, I would say. Some of the issues that I have with this camera, one of them is the fact that I have to have it on my tripod and have it at least 3 or 4 foot away in order to fit me all in like this, which is a bit of an annoyance really, because I wanted to be able to stick the camera on a little tripod and put it on my desk. I suppose the sort of good side to it is that I'm able to hook it up to the telly and I can actually see what I'm recording, so it sort of swings and roundabouts really. The 1080p setting does allow me to bring the camera closer, which I think is a bit weird, but then with the Sony Vegas issue, I don't know whether I'll be recording in 1080p. But like I say, this is all new stuff to me, and I'm learning as I'm going on, sort of thing. The tripod mount that you get, the hole is actually on the side, so it actually, if I was just using that, it would actually be on its side. They give you a sort of little adapter which you can stick in the side, which then makes it be able to go on top of your tripod stand normally, sort of thing. Why they couldn't put it on the bottom, I don't know, maybe it was room issue or something, but they have put an adapter in, so it's not a problem. The pictures that I took, 10 megapixel pictures, you do have a choice of either having 10 or 7 or 5 or something like that. You can change the resolution of the pictures, but you need to have a real steady hand, because I noticed that in some of the pictures, if I moved just slightly, everything was blurred, and it doesn't have image stabilization, and I don't think you can zoom on it either. So, but then saying that, I'm not going to use it for taking pictures, I'm going to use it for taking video. Now, as far as the videos are concerned, I took some video in the garden this morning and I noticed that you could see the shaky hand a bit. It doesn't have image stabilization, so if you haven't got a steady hand, then it could become an issue. It wasn't that bad, but obviously the Kodak ZI-8 would be a lot better, so you've got to sort of take that into consideration when you think about this. To change the resolution on the Kodak, it would be a case of pressing one button, going left or right to choose the resolution, and then clicking record. So it's very basic, very simple and very easy. As far as the Samsung is concerned, you have to go into a menu, then you go into settings, then you have to go into the resolution settings, choose which one you want, press OK, and then back out of the whole situation. Now obviously if you're just going to stick to one resolution, it ain't a problem, because it's got the record button which you just press and it records. But if you want to change the settings, then it is a little bit of extra effort that you've got to go into all the settings and change everything. It has, it's got a touch sensitive sort of keypad thing. If the battery is low, then it doesn't respond as well as it does when it's hooked up to the mains. And I have found it a bit tricky to sort of get around it. Generally speaking, I would say that getting to the settings on this camera is a bit more fiddly than the Kodak. But then you get a lot more for that. I mean, there's sepia, there's negative, you know, you get all these different effects which you can use with it. Plus there's time lapse recording, which I haven't actually tested out yet, and you get this thing which is a backlight, which basically gives you more brightness when you're recording in low light, which is quite useful actually. In conclusion, I would say at the moment I am very happy with the Samsung. There are a few things that I miss that the Kodak had which the Samsung doesn't, but the quality of the picture is, I would say, a lot better than the Kodak ZI-8. But then that's only because of the blue streaks issue. If Kodak sorted out those blue streaks issue, then I would be very tempted to go out and get the Kodak and have both, because I think that the Samsung is just as good as the Kodak. Today, as it is, I like the Samsung. I think it's better than the Kodak at the moment, and I'm quite happy to stick with the Samsung. If you're thinking about getting the Samsung, the things you've got to take into consideration are the trickier settings as far as the resolutions are concerned, and the fact that you can't change the battery and the shakiness of it. I think if you're choosing between the Samsung and the Kodak, obviously Kodak might bring out a firmware upgrade or some kind of fix for the blue streaks. If that's the case, then I'd say go with the Kodak. As it stands today, if you're choosing between the Kodak and the Samsung, go with the Samsung, because the extra things that you get with the Samsung far outweigh all of the negatives that I may have said in this video. Okay, here is the low light situation, 720p at 30 frames per second. It is a little bit orange, but then the light in my bedroom is a bit orange. So, you know, low light is as low light is really. I think you'd have to get a proper professional camera to be able to do any better. I mean, it's better than a mobile phone, and I would say it's better than the Kodak at the moment. Now we have the 720p at 30 frames per second. Outside it was more overcast this morning than it was when I did the Kodak videos. It is a lot more shakier, but then you haven't got the image stabilization. And then this is the 1080p at 30 frames per second. There is no zoom, but you do get more in your picture, I noticed. And the quality of the picture is better, I think, on this. And so there you go. Okay, that's my video. I hope it's helped you. If you have any questions for me, then don't hesitate to ask. Like I say, I'm still testing out this camera, so I shall probably do some more videos later on as to the various different things that I find out about it. If I find out any more about the Kodak ZI-8, then I'll let you know about that. But as it is for now, that's my video on the Samsung U10. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all later. Okay then, bye bye.